We have confirmed with the staff at my senior center that the database can handle a large volume of people using the system at the same time. So there really is no concern there. It's going live, so everybody's in there at the same time, doing it at the same time. There's not going to be a pause or anything like that. You should be able to go in, view the available activities, and we're going to go through the process. We will continue to have registration dates, so you've heard me say already that we're not going to have August registration dates for September and October programs like we historically have done, because September is a very unique time for us with our move to the new building. So we do anticipate September registration dates for October programs. And we've been communicating that during the month of September, our fee-based fitness classes and art classes that we've been running for a long time are going on a little hiatus. So there'll be nothing that you really need to register for in a traditional way for the month of September. So we're gearing up, getting this ready to roll out for October. So you'll want to just watch out for information about what those registration dates are, and then there'll be an October newsletter that will be more familiar looking to you. That will be more than just welcome to the Tolles Parsons Center, but what can I sign up for? What's being offered? And then the My Active Center will be an opportunity should you choose to use it. We will still have a registration date for Wellesley residents, and then we will have a registration date for non-Wellesley residents. So, of course, our priority, because we are the town of Wellesley, is Wellesley residents. But the fact of the matter is, we have many people from neighboring communities, Needham, Weston, Natick, some are in the room right now, that participate in our programs, and that's great, and we want that to continue to be the case. So we're going to talk about what are your payment options once we roll out My Senior Center. So if you are someone who wants to pay for your activities using a credit card, here are the ways that you can accomplish that. You can use My Active Center, and again, we're going to take the time to show you how to set up your account and walk you through it. You can come in person to the Tolles Parsons Center. So you can come and you can see me and you can say, hey Gail, I want to go on that day trip in October. I'm going to sign you up right in the moment. You want to pay by credit card? We are going to have the equipment at the Tolles Parsons Center, just like retail locations, and we're going to be able to swipe your credit card and sign you up that way, confirm, and give you a receipt. If you choose to call over the phone for an activity and you want to pay by credit card, you can also do that. It's just giving your credit card information over the phone to a staff member who is, again, in the moment, live in the system, registering you in the moment, going through the steps, just like if you were doing it yourself at home. You'd also have the option to pay by personal check. The only option for that is to come in person to the Tolles Parsons Center, register for your activity, and pay by personal check. If you're paying by cash, we will still, accept cash. Same thing there. You would do that in person at the Tolles Parsons Center. Something that's important, and we're going to be figuring this out too because we're brand new to this part of My Senior Center, is this system is first come, first serve, which actually is exactly the way we do it now, except it's over the phone or in person. We're really introducing a third option, which is for people to register independently from the comfort of home or wherever you might be. So for all of our fee-based activities, this is very important. Your payment confirms your registration. Right now, if somebody calls me and says, put me down for the Better Bones class on Mondays at 9:30, what I'm doing is I'm putting that person's name on a piece of paper and I am awaiting their payment. So a lot of people send their check in the mail, for example. Our policy, although not everybody complies with it, is we require payment at least 1 business day in advance of the first class. I can tell you that doesn't happen, and we're chasing people all the time for payments. So this is like magic for me. For you, this, especially for programs that maybe have a cap, and there's only 25 spots in a yoga class, for example, you have to pay. Once you pay and sign up and pay, it confirms that you're in the class. Okay, so that is very new and very important, so I want to make sure to emphasize that.
Yeah, there's a question.
Yes.
So in other words, it behooves you to pay by credit card because you want to be assured that you're going to be in that class that you're signing up for.
Or if her question was, it behooves me to pay by credit card because it assures that I'm going to get in the class. If you're registering from home, yes, but you might come to the Tolles Parsons Center on registration day, talk to me in person, pay by cash or check. I'm literally in the same system that you would have been in at home. So it's kind of like everybody's using it at the same time. So we're fielding the calls, the walk-ins, and the online registration is kind of all in the same bucket. Everybody's doing it at the same time.
And it updates in real time. So if someone is at home signing up and I'm on the phone with someone else who's calling in, I'm gonna see the person who just clicked register at home. It updates in real time.
Question?
Technical point, working with credit cards where I'm working now. In addition to your credit card number, you have to give the expiration date.
Okay,
If they don't
so
have
her comment was when you're giving somebody a credit card number over the phone, her experience is that you also have to give the expiration date. I know other times I've had to give the last 3 digits of the security code. I don't know because we haven't done it yet, but it's a good point. We will write that down and we will find out so that we are well prepared for October. Another question?
2 questions. One, PayPal. You're not going to use PayPal?
We are not.
Okay, you've considered it.
We have.
Okay. And then someone else said, what happens if you don't have a computer? Can't you use the library and
Yes.
the computer there? Okay, so
Yes.
you ought to tell them that.
Yes, yeah, I started to say that and we're gonna get into that. That's fine. So did everybody hear the all right, so the first question was asking about PayPal and had we considered that option? We did. We talked at length with the staff at my senior center. We've had to work with a number of other town departments to come to the decision to use my senior center. We actually had a whole exploration where we looked at a number of alternatives, including the system that the Wellesley Recreation Department uses. For all intents and purposes and through our thorough research, this was the solution that was the best fit, specifically for a council on aging. The Recreation Department has a great system. It's kind of like the Cadillac of software for recreation programs, but the Council on Aging is unique in that we have to track things that recreation isn't even considering, things that are happening through social services, which is very different than programming, transportation, meals, those sorts of things. So this is the best solution for us. The other question that she asked was about technology, because we know we are dealing with a wide age range of 60 and older. And people have different comfort levels with technology, and some people will never use a computer. This is exactly why we're not forcing anyone to register online. But we are introducing this option, and if you're interested in getting comfortable or educated, we have a number of volunteers who are extremely dedicated to helping anybody learn the basics of getting comfortable with a computer, and then when the time is right, talking in detail about My Active Center. In fact, at the last information session, we had one of our tech volunteers here in the room. So she witnessed the same presentation, heard all the questions and answers, and I think already has been meeting with people to get them ready. So just call the office or stop into the office and we can set you up with an appointment. But there's other locations in town, like the library, who has the computer lab, so that's another option if you wanted to go there. Another question?
Going back to registration, if a couple want to register, do they each have to sign in individually, or when one of you sign in, can you register more than one person?
You can link your account to a spouse.
Right.
So we're actually going to cover that during the demonstration. That same exact question has come up in the other information sessions, and Linda gets the credit for figuring out how to link the spouse. So I'm going to turn to her to help us walk through that when the time comes. Yes, question in the
Do you
back.
have to enter your credit card every time?
It does not, yes, I'm getting to that. So, secure, people have asked about security, right? Of course. So My Active Center is a secure site. It's a web-based application. It will not store your credit card information, even if you want it to. It does not prompt you to do that. So you might find that frustrating, but it's a security measure, and it's done intentionally. Similarly, if you were to come in person and register in person with me or over the phone with me, when we do things internally, it's the same practice. We are never storing credit card information, and that is for your protection. Okay, there will be a couple of unique happenings, offerings at the Council on Aging where you would not be eligible to sign up online. So I've just outlined what some of those are. Some of you might be more familiar with these, but these are offerings that we have at the Council on Aging that are a little bit unique in that it requires kind of a human interaction with somebody. So the SHINE program, for example, is help understanding Medicare-related issues, maybe signing up for a prescription drug plan. We have excellent, well-versed volunteers. I do not handle that. Our social worker typically doesn't get involved in that. So because the schedules fluctuate, and sometimes it requires a little bit of back and forth conversation with the volunteers, we're not going to make that available. You would need to call and make your SHINE appointment. Similarly, on a seasonal basis, we have trained volunteers through AARP who help folks with tax preparation. Those schedules fluctuate as well, so that would be another thing that you would need to call for. Technology appointments, so we've been talking about that. Right now, our technology volunteers, they're volunteers. Their schedules and availability changes. And we want to be able to convey to the scheduled volunteer, what are your specific technology needs? So we need a method for you to be able to communicate that so we can make a note of it, and then we confirm all of the appointments with those tech volunteers. On a quarterly basis, we have a representative who comes from Metro West Legal Services, who talks with folks on legal matters, again, because the dates and times fluctuate, and it's really kind of irregular. We would not have that available for online registration. And then lastly, transportation. So we do employ 2 part-time transportation coordinators. We have a dedicated telephone line. We have a specific email set up. So nothing will be changing as far as transportation is concerned. COA lunches, so you'll see at the bottom here, I have subject to change, and I have to emphasize that because I think we kind of need to get in and experience this a little bit. So we think that if you want to register for a scheduled lunch, right now we have lunches 3 days a week, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. It's a catered lunch. Our hope is to be able to grow that so that we're offering lunches 5 days a week, maybe bringing in another partnering restaurant to expand on that. We think the best way for this to work is for people to register. You could register online if you wanted to, but we're going to have you pay upon arrival. And I think this is more because this is a little bit of a unique program, and having run this program for a number of years, we know that sometimes there are like same-day cancellations or last-minute changes. So we think that that's going to be how that will go, but I did, as a disclaimer, put that will be subject to change. So we'll have to see how that goes. All right, so our timeline, I covered some of this already. Oh, hang on, somebody has a question. Yes.
If we could go back just a little bit.
In regard to the lunches,
Yes.
I was unclear. If you're not comfortable registering online,
You can still call.
you can still call.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thanks very
Sorry.
much.
Her question was if I don't register online for lunches because I don't have a computer, for example, how can I sign up for a lunch? You can still call and we will register you for the lunches. Right now, the protocol for the lunches will stay the same. You must sign up by 9:30 the day prior. So if it's a Tuesday meal, lunch meal, you'd sign up Monday by 9:30. And the reason for that, by the way, is because we have to call in a head count to the restaurant so that sufficient amount of food is delivered. So, but this one will be something that we're looking at, you know, in the early weeks and month that we're into the building and running.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so I've already said this, but I'll reiterate it. Our plan right now is to roll out the My Active Center late September, and that will be for all of the programs and activities that we have planned for the month of October. So the fitness classes, the art classes, we're already having discussions with the instructors and or any new instructor that we might be engaging to come in and offer something new. So all of that will be outlined in your October newsletter, which you will receive in September. Okay, so it's the October newsletter that you'll get in September. You'll have a heads up so you know when the registration dates are. Probably will be the last full week of September. And we will be rolling this out. So on the administrative side, we have a lot of work on the back end. Okay, so our staff, once the newsletter and the October program is finalized, on the back end, we the staff are going into the system and typing in all of the information, you know, yoga dates, yoga times, costs, account information for our purposes, so that when we are ready to make it live, all of the information is there. If you need to cancel out of an activity, you must call the Council on Aging. There is no way for you to cancel out independently through My Active Center. So this is important to note. If you, for example, are signed up for a trip, let's say you sign up for a trip at the end of September because you have your October newsletter. Oh, that trip in October looks great. I go into My Active Center, I sign up for it, I pay for it, I'm good to go. And then as the date gets closer, your availability changes and you can no longer go. You do not have the option to go into My Active Center and cancel yourself out. That does require for you to call and cancel. It's very important for you to do that because you've paid for it, right? So why do you want to pay for a trip you're not going to go on? And I'm jumping ahead to one of my others here. We may have a waiting list for a trip. So call us to cancel, and that frees up a spot for somebody who's on a waiting list. So speaking of waiting lists, the Council on Aging, just like we do already, we will be having a process where we maintain waiting lists for any programs that fill up. So if it's a fitness class and it reaches the maximum number, or if it's a trip and the bus can hold 50 people, but 55 want to go, we will maintain the list for those 5 people that want to go on the day trip for exactly the example that I just gave. There is not the ability through My Active Center for you to automatically put yourself onto a waiting list. So that will require some staff involvement, and we have a plan in place for that. Questions before I leave this slide? Yes.
Say you have registered online for a program and paid by credit card.
Mm-hmm.
You call to cancel that.
Yes.
Do you people then have a way of
Issuing a
getting your
refund.
credit card?
Yes. Her question has to do with how do I get a refund if I cancel, say, a day trip that I can no longer go on, but I paid for it. we will have a mechanism in place where we are issuing a refund. I will be completely honest, it's going to be a new process for us, and so we are working collaboratively with the town treasurer's office to understand what the steps are. We've had some guidance from our friends at the recreation department because they do this all the time. I think probably what I should say about this is some people want that refund to appear immediately on the credit card. That's not realistic. Usually it's a couple of days for all those steps to happen. Certainly, if you're concerned that maybe your refund didn't go through after a couple of days, we welcome you to call and bring it to our attention, and we'd be able to give you an update. So it'll take us a little bit of time to get that perfect, but yes, that is an option, and that's how we'll handle it. Yes?
If you're one of the ones on the waiting list and you get called, oh, you can come and do it, do you then pay that day or as you arrive to get to the bus? Or?
So that's a good question. I think it will be situational.
What was the question?
The question was, if I'm on a waiting list for, say, a day trip, and I get a call because somebody canceled and I'm the first person on the wait list, what is the expectation of me as far as paying for that? So I think it will depend on how much time do we have and maybe what your preference is. I think we would want to collect the payment ASAP, but if I'm calling you at 5 o'clock on a Thursday and the trip is the next morning at 9 o'clock on a Friday, it may be that we would have you come with your payment. It will depend on what your preferred payment method's going to be. If you want to pay by credit card, we can do it right then and there. But if you don't want to pay by credit card, you can confirm going on the trip and we would work out an arrangement where you would pay upon arriving the next day. Good question. Great. Okay, so now we're gonna pause. I got a little ahead of myself there. We have a handout. Maybe the staff in the back can help distribute the handouts. So we have a big group here today. So what's coming around to you is we have prepared a handout, and I'll turn some of the lights up maybe. It'll be a little bit easier for you to follow along. Our hope was that you have something tangible to take home with you. We're going to walk you through it slowly, step by step, have time for questions, but then our request of anyone who plans to use My Active Center would be to go home and set up your account, because you can set up your account today. So I'm just going to give it a minute while the handouts come around. Question here?
Can you register for your spouse?
Yes, the question is, can you register for your spouse? The answer is yes. We're going to take some time to show that here. Did I see one more hand?
I did it on my iPhone very easily.
Right now? Yeah. So her comment is she has set herself up with My Active Center using her iPhone. So I think we're going to be fine, but again, I can't emphasize to you enough, we don't pretend to be the experts here, even though we are as informed as we possibly can be at today's date. But this is new. It's new for you. The My Active Center is new for us. So we encourage you to call us if you're having any difficulty. If you think of a question that you didn't ask today, call us and let us know. All right, so what we've done now is Linda has set up her laptop, and so what you're looking at, she is live right now in the My Active Center web. So if you look at, I'm just using this. So if you go, see this browser here? She's put in the web address for My Active Center. This is on your handout on the first page. So that's your first step. Then what you want to do when you're visiting this for the first time is you want to create your account. So you're going to go over here. It says New Users. Does everybody see that on the screen here? The green button? So Linda's going to go ahead and she's going to click New Users. Okay, and like I said, there's more than 900 COAs using My Senior Center, My Active Center. So if you don't immediately see Tolles Parsons Center, which by the way, it's already in the system as Tolles Parsons Center, even though we're not physically there yet, you can search by zip code. So that's what Linda's doing, right here in this box. So now she knows that that's what she wants, so she just needs to click on Tolles Parsons Center. And again, this is all in your handout. It's circled, that one is circled in red for you. All right, so I'll just read for those of you who might be having trouble. It says, if you have been issued a My Senior Center key tag by the Tolles Parsons Center, enter it here so that the account is linked. This is necessary to enroll in activities and groups at this center. Your contact information on file with the center will be retrieved automatically. So for those of you who happen to have your key tag handy, on the back side of it, you'll see a barcode. So it's a lot like a CVS card or a Stop and Shop card. So what you're being asked to do is to put in your key tag number in this field right here. So we have decided to set up Elizabeth Bradley, who works at the Council on Aging. She's our test for today. So we're setting up Elizabeth's account. So here's her key tag number. The next prompt is for you to enter your phone number. So we have the default for the Wellesley COA phone number. And then it's asking for an email address. So I'll say again, if you want to use My Active Center, you have to have an email address. You can't use My Active Center without one. Again, we have technology volunteers at the COA, so if you're interested in learning more about it or pursuing this, you can come and a tech volunteer will set you up with an email address. Then you're putting in a password. Somebody had asked if there was any specific, so many characters or a capital letter and a special, asterisk or something. No, we have not found that is necessary. So it will ask you for your password. It will ask you to then retype the password to confirm, and then you're going to click continue. So your account is now created, you are logged in. So see up here in the top right corner, what has changed is it's now saying, hi Elizabeth. So it's recognizing that it's Elizabeth Bradley's account, okay? So now, let's see. Okay, you should also, by the way, receive a email. So because you're using your email address to set up your account, the next time you go to your email, you should have a welcome or a confirmation email from My Active Center confirming that you've set up your account. All right. So now we're going to spend some time. We actually set up a test event in here. So we're going to take Elizabeth and we're going to sign her up for the test event. Now, the test event that we selected is Gale Test Event, okay? This is it's denoted as a free activity. For purposes of today, we cannot show you how to sign up for an activity with a fee associated to it, simply because we are still working with the treasurer's office and the folks from My Senior Center to get ourselves set up. So what we can show you is how to register Elizabeth for the Gale Test Event. So Linda's going to walk us through. Everybody see this? So she's clicking on Gale Test Event. The Gale Test Event is actually happening today at 1 o'clock. So it's highlighted in this green box, so she's going to go ahead and click that. And then she's going to click this register button. This is kind of like making sure that you want to register for this. So it's asking you again, are you sure you want to register for this event? It gives you the details. She clicks register. And maybe we're gonna get hung up again. It seems like every time we want to take an action step, it's not cooperating. This is, by the way, it's not a My Active Center issue that we're experiencing right now. It has to do with the Wi-Fi in the building. So we've tried a couple of other Wi-Fi options and it's not working right at the moment.
Maybe you could go on with your presentation and come back to this.
We could try, yeah, let's.
If it finally starts
Yeah,
working.
I'm very sorry about this.
So, excuse me, so if we just, do we need to set up an account now, or can we like wait
No,
till
no.
late September?
I mean, my request is that everybody not wait and for your own sake, so that you can, so my suggestion is, as soon as possible, go in and set up your account. There's no harm in it. You will not see, if I could just make this clear, you will not see any of the programs for October until we go live with registration. Somebody who had to leave said, is there any advantage to me using My Active Center, because I might be able to go on at midnight on the registration day and register earlier than the 9 a.m. registration that the Council on Aging sets? The answer is no. We emphasized to the staff at my senior center that we need to handle this fairly, and when we dictate the information to go live is when everybody can register. So hypothetically, if we said September 27th at 9 a.m., Wellesley residents can register for activities. That means by phone, in person, and online at 9 o'clock. There is no midnight option.
I'm in, because I tried doing it again this time. I'm in.
All right, so Linda has been able to refresh, and she successfully registered for the Gale test event. So, is everybody with me here?
That's page 8.
Because I missed one point. Do you click first on the event name before you press the register button?
Yes.
Thank you.
Like, her question was, and I apologize because we had a little disruption there, but if the activity that we're using for demonstration purposes is the Gale test event. So you first click on the Gale test event, then you're going to find it in the little calendar. It was August 9th at 1 o'clock, I think. So Linda checked on that. A little box pops up and it gives you the details, and it's making sure this is what you want to sign up for. Then you click register. So now what we're hopefully going to see
Trying to refresh the page because it wasn't showing on my activities. So I don't know. Oh, here we go.
Okay, so now, and again, this is all outlined on the handout, so even though it's been a little rocky here, you'll be able to reference your handout and actually see it. But here, now do you see this where it says upcoming? So what Linda did is she went up top to where it says Hi Elizabeth, who's our test for today. There's a My Activities button. She clicked on that, and then what happens is in this right-hand column, it's now showing that Elizabeth is signed up for the Gale test event. All right? And so if it were signing up for October and you chose 5 things to sign up for, they are all going to appear here. And that will confirm your registration. A question here.
Is this going to be synced with Outlook so that it'll go into your regular calendar that you keep for your appointments and so forth?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. The question was, does this sync to any other calendar that you might already be using for other things in life? Like a lot of people use their Outlook calendar. I use an Outlook calendar. Her question was, will these sync with your Outlook calendar and be automatically added? I think the answer is no. I don't think it's that sophisticated yet. Maybe that's something that will come down the line. All right, so I know it was a little choppy, but does everybody have a basic understanding? Okay, great. Let's see. Did we do all the steps? We
I
still-
don't know, I don't have a copy of that.
Okay. So I think we've covered all of the steps. We were gonna show how to register for fee-based programs. We're gonna show you as far as we can get you for something that's fee-based. So I think right now we have a Qigong, which is a fee-based activity. I'm pretty sure we should be able to see that if it cooperates with us. There we go. All right, so if we scroll down, I think there's going to be an option for Qigong right here. So again, I can't take you all the way through this because we're not set up. But if you click on Qigong, see down here, there are 2 dates, the 11th and the 18th. So Linda is selecting August 11th, and she's going to hit register. Then here's the box that's saying, are you sure you want to sign up for this? So the difference here, on the previous example, which was free, it was just asking to register. But here, because there's a fee associated, it's saying pay now. Or if you didn't want it, you would hit cancel. So what you would do is you would hit the pay now. We're getting kind of this auto message right now because we're not set up yet. But this would be a series of prompts that would walk you through the credit card payment, putting in your credit card number, and it should be easy to follow as you go along.
Also, if this was a series, a 6-week yoga class, it would sign you up for all 6 weeks. You do not need to select every day.
Did everybody hear that? Sometimes we have fitness classes, like a yoga class, multi-week session, 6 consecutive Tuesdays. You would not need to sign up on each individual Tuesday. It will sign you up for all 6 in the session.
Except if you're not coming in with your pass.
Yes, good point. So her point is, to my earlier presentation, when I said, even though you've pre-registered, we are asking you to go to the touch screen, even if you've pre-registered for 6 weeks of yoga, because you might be on that 2-week cruise and miss 2 of the dates. Or you might have a doctor's appointment and have to miss one of the classes, and maybe that's unexpected. So again, just to say, our hope is to have as accurate a picture of how many people are visiting the building on any given day, what is it that they're participating in, and what is our true attendance. It's very much like taking attendance.
I have another question. If you come in on one day and have 2 events that
Yes.
you're going to go to, you clear your key on your first entrance, but you're going to go to 2 different things.
So, good question, thank you. Her question is, what if I'm visiting the Tolles Parsons Center and I'm planning to go to 2 different things on that same day? You'd visit the touch screen. You'll remember I said it's going to auto-populate all of the activities for that day. You can select them at the same time. So you can say, I'm here to take yoga,
You can scroll down.
and then I'm going to play bridge. So you'll be able to see everything on the screen. If it's a really high volume day and we have a lot going on, I think you can actually, there's like an arrow, and it will actually, you'll hit the arrow and it'll go to the new screen. So for those of you who are still here, and I'm sorry we lost some people due to the difficulties and the time, at the end here, I do encourage you to come up. You can actually swipe your key tag and in the moment kind of experience it. And we've got a test event set up over there. So I'm happy to show anybody who wants to try it. Another question here.
For things like Qigong and line dancing where you pay as you go, does that mean every week I'm going to have to sign in? You know, we give our money right to the teacher now. Does that mean every week I'm gonna have to sign in and have a $5 credit on my credit card each
There are
week?
gonna be situations like that when we're gonna have to handle it in the moment, meaning we would have a staff member or a volunteer or a partnership with the fitness teacher for drop-in.
So something like,
Something
so
that's-
something
something
like
that's-
that would be listed
yes.
right in the.
Because you don't, if it's drop-in Qigong, you're not pre-registering. You can just come on the Friday
Oh, okay,
morning to
okay.
it. So you would use the touch screen, you would go into the class, we would have a plan to collect the fee, and we would take your attendance and deposit your payment internally.
All right, good.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Sandy.
Yeah, again, when you're, let's say, pre-registering for the exercise class in 6 weeks, and you're not gonna pay online, you're gonna come in with a check. So you can still register not getting payment, correct?
You
Or
cannot do it online.
If you're not,
If you're gonna pay by personal check, you would not pay, you can't register online.
okay,
So if I pulled back up my PowerPoint, I have
Right.
the slide for payment options.
right.
Anybody who's choosing to pay by a personal check cannot register on My Active Center.
Okay.
Pam?
If you're registering for a class, like say, the Bed of Bones, which is every week at such and such a time, and then you also want to do Tai Chi, which is X number of days, and you also want to do, I don't know what other particular one, do you have to keep going back out of your computer and going back in to
All right,
re-register?
so admittedly, we haven't yet experienced it because we're not fully set up, but our understanding is you should be building your cart. Almost like using Amazon if you ever pay, buy anything. So I'm sorry, her question was, what if I want to register for multiple activities and there's fees associated with some of them? How does that work? And I honestly answered that we haven't yet actually had the chance to go through it and see it firsthand, but what was explained to us is it's like building your cart. I want to buy a roll of paper towels, and I want to buy windshield washer fluid, and a $2 price and a $4 price, and then at the end, it calculates your total, and you're putting it in. Now, please don't hold me to that, because like I said, we have not yet experienced it live, so this is what's been communicated to us. We have somebody from my senior center, we just a week ago got our credit card swiper, and now that we have that, we're making arrangements for the staff member to come out and give us some training on that. So we had no choice but to get ahead of this, to try and educate as many people as we could, so we will be learning a little bit more. This might also be a time for me to say, again, this is new to us and we're all going through this part of it, brand new and together at the same time. So if anything changes relative to this handout that we're giving you, or if I need to communicate something broadly, we will have information on our website, and we'll be using a number of other mechanisms to get the word out so that everybody has the same information. If I've misinformed, clearly I would want to get that message out. So you can expect to hear from us should that be the case.
One way or another, supposing you don't have email. Would
Yes.
phone
Or, I mean, we have printed publications.
Okay.
We would have information tangibly available here while we're still here, or once we're in the new building. I mean, our goal is we're all in this together, right? It's all for the greater good. So we want to get, as accurate information as we possibly can out to everybody. So we just ask for your patience and understanding, and we want you to call us with questions, or if you're trying to follow along with the handout and for whatever reason you're not seeing exactly what's there, give us a call. We're happy to help.
Do you want to do the spells quickly?
Sure. All right, so a couple people have asked about if they wanted to sign up a spouse in addition to themselves, so we're going to walk through this.
Go to my account.
So in the top right corner, all right, so she clicked on My Account, and now what's coming up here is, don't forget we chose Elizabeth on our staff, so we're working in her account. So that's coming up automatically with Elizabeth's email address.
So you can update your email if you wanted to. You can change your password.
This is a screen where if you choose to make any changes, like let's say some people have 2 email addresses, and they say, geez, I don't want to use this email address, I want my Gmail address, this is an opportunity to edit your account information. It's asking you to put in your password and confirm it.
You don't have to do that, it's only if you want to change your password.
Okay, so I'm sorry, Linda's kind of coaching me as we go here. So you don't need to do these things, it's only if you choose to do these things. And then, so there's this section where it said spouse. So she's selected add spouse, and it brings up this screen, so I'll read it. If you share an email address with your spouse and/or would like to be able to act on their behalf on My Active Center, please enter their information below. You must use the key tag number and the phone number on file for your spouse. So there's a couple of husband and wives in the room, so each of you has your own key tag. This is where you're going to need your husband or wife's key tag, and you're going to be putting in their information. So it's almost identical to what you did setting up your own account. Just follow the steps. So you'd put in the key tag number. We can't show you this because we don't have anybody to link to Elizabeth right now, but you'd put in the key tag number and the home phone number, and you'd hit continue.
And then it's done.
And then you're successful, you've done it.
The key there is that if you share an email address, some husbands and wives or some spouses share an email address, one person creates the account with their email address and goes in and links the second person. If you and your spouse have different email addresses, you both must go in and create your own account, and then you both must go in and link the other person to your account. If one person does it, it doesn't connect. You know, both people need to link the other person.
Everybody clear on that? Any questions on that? Okay. So we have covered an awful lot. I'm happy to answer any more questions. One over here.
Going back to when you link the accounts, if you're registering, does it automatically say, do you want both people or just one person?
Yes, so then,
Obviously, it could be a mix of two people going to one person.
yes, so once the spouses are linked, when you go to register for an event, in that pop-up box, before you click register, there's an option to select Joe, Jane, or both. So you could sign up just for yourself, you could sign up for both people, you could sign up for your spouse if you were not going.
Okay.
So there's those options.
Question?
Gail, I'm sorry, I was a little bit late, but with our key card, say I'm not going to have a class that day, if I'm just coming in to visit,
Yes.
do I sign in?
Yes.
And do you sign out?
You do not have to sign out. So her question was, if I'm just going to visit the Tolles Parsons Center because I feel like getting out of the house and maybe having a cup of coffee, but I'm not really participating in any scheduled activity, what do I do? You would still visit the touch screen, and every day we're going to have an option, kind of a generic catch-all, like visitor. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet, but it'll be something. And I imagine we might have some FAQs put together that we'll have available, or some of those types of things that somebody might be a little perplexed upon visiting the touch screen and be like, geez, I'm not sure what to hit. We'll kind of have those indicators. We're also planning to have seasoned, trained volunteers serving as greeters at the reception desk. So that's like an extra layer on the staff. So those kinds of questions that's our first line of fire right there, is checking in with the volunteer. Yeah. Yes.
You talked about a cafe. What
Yes.
is that going to involve?
Her question is, the cafe, I think what people are probably most excited about is self-serve coffee. So, because that's something that's been lacking all the years that we've been here at the community center. We don't really have a designated spot for somebody to just come in for a cup of coffee and conversation, or grab a cup of coffee before or after an activity. So this is a highly anticipated space within the Tolles Parsons Center. So we will have coffee every day, self-serve. It is not Starbucks. So we will be making coffee every day. We'll have hot water for tea drinkers. And so that's part of our planning, is we're going through and making sure we buy what we need to buy, and We're talking with coffee vendors, and so people can just come and help themselves and have a cup of coffee. The cafe lounge has, it's almost like a little mini Panera, for lack of a better word. There's some small round tables with 3 or 4 chairs. So there's several of those. There's the beverage counter where you can come up and help yourself to coffee. And then there's a beautiful piece of millwork. And on the other side of that is some soft seating. So there's 2 club chairs and a sofa and a gas fireplace. It's really beautiful. Yeah, so it's as I said, I think people are really eager to take advantage of that sort of space.
I hope you'll have both regular and decaf.
That's the plan. Not everybody likes decaf coffee, which has always been our default, so right now we do have a plan for that, yes. Question?
Have you any food? So far you've just mentioned coffee.
In the cafe lounge right now, present day, our plan is for beverage, so coffee and tea. We do have the lunch program, which you can sign up and have lunch. Down the road, once we live in the space a little while and we can, get a feel for what the visitors, are interested in or asking about, maybe there's some potential to have some like snacks. Yeah, so it's definitely in the thinking, but there's no plan right from day one for that. Yep.
Another question I have, and perhaps you've already covered it, I'm concerned about signing up for programs. I had heard that all the signing up will be done online. There are certain programs that if you're not in line here, in person, they are full in a half an hour. What's going to happen if you're not comfortable with signing up online and you're sold out immediately? How is this all going to work?
I mean, you saw her in the slide, and I've said we are treating this like first come, first serve, but we're giving people options. So if you are somebody who's not comfortable or prefers not to register online, you can still come in and register in person or call over the phone. It's all in the mix at the same time. There's no advantage. Somebody who's making a choice to register online, they have to wait until 9 a.m. to do that. So we're really introducing a third way for people to register. So there will be
emails.
There will be times that classes will meet capacity. Just that happens in life. Well, I don't know about immediately because we have to go through, everything's happening kind of live.
So you'll take people who
And let me just also say, because this, I know that people are feeling this, but we have a whole building to program. So I know it's difficult to think about because we all only know what we know because this is all we've ever had. This is what we do here. We have a whole building to program. So we may be able to increase the number of Better Bones classes, for example, with the teacher. We also have an opportunity to bring in new instructors and new classes. We do expect a surge in participation, people who maybe never participate in anything here at the Council on Aging. So I will come back to my request for patience and flexibility because we're going through this, and we are planning for that, but I think the fact of the matter is, and the reality is, we kind of have to experience these things and listen to the constituency to be able to make things better, just like any other recreation, education, socialization type department would do.
Thank you.
I wondered if you're going to have any off-site parking because the parking lot doesn't look as large as it might near the new building?
There is, on Washington Street, there's street parking. It is 2-hour parking, which it is enforced by the town. So if you experience that, there will be, parking options there. At present, there is not a plan for a satellite parking lot, but there's ample parking along Washington Street. Granted, there may be times because there is a funeral home nearby, so if there's a funeral on a particular morning, we may be competing a little bit for on-street parking, but that won't last the day. So, and not everybody drives. Some people use Council on Aging transportation. Some people might walk
Yeah.
to the new center. We're right across the street from the largest senior subsidized housing in town, which is fabulous. There's much more walkability because the building is centrally located. So we expect to see that. Even have some people that are riding their bicycles.
Sure.
And there is a bike rack, by the way. Yes,
Do you know how many parking spaces there are just offhand?
58 on site. Anyone else? I have talked your ears off, but I'll close by, first of all, thank you for coming and making the time. I know we covered a lot. Please come up and try the touch screen. I'd love to show it to you. And my message is really just give a call if you're having any questions or need any guidance with anything that we reviewed. Okay? Thank you so much. Come on up and use the touch screen. You'll need your key tag if you want to.